Welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. First off, yes, I've had a haircut. I was pretty much due to have a trim right when all the restrictions came in for COVID-19, so I was kind of left with just having to deal with it just growing out. And it got to the point, I think last week, it was all stringy and horrible, getting quite long and heavy. And I put a beanie on and it looked like I just had all this straw coming out the bottom. Luckily, my hairdresser has restarted. She has a very small salon that she runs from her home, and she has been following all of the right practices and everything. So I was able to go back to her and get a nice chop. So it's now nice and short, still a little bit of blonde in there from before. And I've also had a bit of a fringe cut in as well, so that when I'm wearing a beanie, I can sort of brush it across a little bit and it sort of frames my face a bit better. Now I can't get it to sit right. So this is still the straightened version from the hairdresser, so it probably won't look anywhere near as neat next week. Big farm progress this week. We have had the tanks delivered and also installed. They are two 25,000 litre tanks that are connected together. One is connected to one side of the shed and the other is connected to the other side, so that there is an even flow of water into the two tanks. And it also has a pump installed, and I even managed to put a tap inside for my sinks. So once we have water and we have power, I will be all ready to go. We haven't been able to test the pump yet. It's a little bit funny. In order to be able to test these things, you actually need to have water, and the reason that you're getting the tanks is because you don't have water. So at the moment we're pumping water from our big old concrete tank over to the new tanks so that we can get them above the level of the outlet and the pump, so that we can turn on the pump and test it. The pumping is quite slow though from the concrete tank to the new tanks, because we're using really thin little like garden hose kind of. So the pressure's okay, but it's just obviously not a lot of water traveling through at any one time. If you're buying a new tank for your house, you would most likely buy in a whole tanker full of water and fill it to the point where you could test and then add the rest of the water. But obviously we are now going to rely on mostly rainwater for this. So what we're going to do is just pump until we get to the right level to be able to make sure it all works. Hopefully it does. And then we will just get rain to fill the rest. Now there are some good showers forecast for next week. So hopefully we will get the tanks filled fairly shortly. I washed my latest hand spun and it's come out really balanced. I'm really pleased. You can see there's not a lot of extra twist in there now. The sun's come out and my colours have all gone a bit funny. You can see there. It's about 280 meters. I think it's close to a worsted weight probably. There are some thinner points, but overall it's reasonably thick. I think I'll probably end up doing a cowl with this. It's still a little bit damp, so I need to dry it off. And then I do think I will wind it into a ball and try and knit straight away with it. Having said that though, since I finished the booties this week, I haven't really been terribly motivated to do a lot of knitting. There's nothing that's terribly inspiring for me right now. I'll show you the booties and the hat together. There's the hat, and here are the cute little booties, and the yellow and gold ones were finished and they were sent off to their recipient. The baby was born late last week, so they've already got them and they're super pleased. After I finished the booties, I did pick up my hip and pop jumper, but I don't know, I'm still not 100% sure that the colours are working. That dark green to me is just too much. I like the light green. There's a lot of different colours and shades within the light, but the dark is just pulling too much. I've tried alternating and it seems to just still stack on itself. So you see there's a big section at the back here that's all just the dark green, and that was with alternating skeins. So I'm going to just put this aside for a little bit, have a think about it. Maybe look for a different, more solid colour to knit this jumper out of and find something else to do with the green. I have pulled out the rest of the green skeins and I'm looking to see if maybe there are some that are a little less of the dark and more of the light. So we'll see, but I need to not think about this one for a little while. Of course, I've continued to knit on a pair of socks. Much slower progress than the first pair of stripy socks, but they are still a really good go-to when I just feel like I want to do something with my hands. But I thought maybe I should just go into my whip basket and see if there's something, an older project that I haven't touched in a while, but maybe I could finish up and that would make me feel a bit better. Get sort of something off the needles that's sort of been sitting at the back of the mind for a little while. So I pulled out quite an old project. It is a Novum by Martina Bem, and I've knit two of them previously and I love them both. One is in this beautiful purple, and it's quite a small version, and I use it as a bit of a scarf. And then I knit another one out of a finer lace and made it much bigger. Covers like the whole screen. And this one is much more like a big shawl or sort of throw blanket sort of thing. And I wore these quite a lot when I was working in my corporate job for accessory and for warmth. And one of my then co-workers commented on the black one. She was a wearer of a lot of black and she really liked it. And she asked if I would be able to knit her one. And I agreed. Now this was in April of 2017. Yeah, now I'm feeling guilty. So I've had this project on the needles for a really, really long time. Since then, she has left that place of employment and I have left that place of employment. I've also moved house and it just got shoved away, didn't think about it for quite a while. And I opened up my box of projects and I saw it and I thought, wow, maybe I really should finish this one. It is already quite huge. And it's lovely. I picked it up and I've started to knit and the yarn is beautiful. It's really similar to the one that I knit for myself. It is it's Peyton's Embrace 2-ply and it's a 90% merino, 10% silk, and it's beautifully soft. And it's quite big already. It's probably about the size of the one that I had knit for myself at this point. And she asked for hers to be much bigger. I think I bought 6 balls total and I have 3 and a bit left. So that means it's still a really long way to go. But having picked it up and started a little knit on it yesterday, I feel like it's not going to be too difficult if I just want to pick up and do a little bit, as well as having it now in the back of my mind that I really should have done this a long time ago. I've realized that I've got needle tips here in a 3.5, which I have been looking for quite a long time. And there's already two red Chiaogu cables on here as well. There's an extender in the middle to make this longer. And given how bunched up it is, I'm probably going to have to add another cable in order to make this easier to knit so it slides around. But I'd like to be able to reclaim all of that stuff out of this project as well. So I'm going to set myself a bit of a challenge because I actually would like to reduce the number of projects that sit and do nothing. There's a few more in that box that I will have to go through and either pull out or decide to finish. I think I would rather just have a couple of projects that I was continually working on rather than putting things aside. I've done it with the looped again that I started that not that long ago. I wasn't getting gauge. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to fit, so I've just put it aside. That may end up being ripped out and started again. I don't know. As I said, I'm in a bit of a funk right now. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about all of my knitting. So I thought I'd start on something simple that's already got some progress, and I'll see if I can actually get it off the needles. When I do finish it, I should still be able to get it to the intended recipient because we have been in contact a little bit since we both left the organisation. Not a ton, but I am friends with her on Facebook and we've texted a little bit here and there, so I'll either be able to grab her address and post it off, or perhaps it'd be a nice excuse to catch up for a coffee at some point. So that's where I am with my crafting this week. A little bit all over the place at the moment, but that's how it is sometimes. You find your inspiration in weird ways, and sometimes there isn't any inspiration and you just sort of want to feel the knitting in your hands. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.